All right, your notes should be out if I did not say that already. You do need to have your notes out. And you may label your notes using even and odd numbers and proofs. Using even and odd numbers and proofs. So we are going to start off by identifying what an even number is. Give me some things that you know are true about an even number. Yes?
It's divisible by 2.
That is exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you. That was way easier than I thought it was going to be. An even number is a number divisible by 2. So, for example, the even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Is 0 an even number?
No.
No.
Is 0 divisible by 2?
No.
No.
What is 0 divided by 2?
0.
It's 0. Can you divide 0 by 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. 0 is an even number.
Well, when you're doing
Wait, is it an odd number
you know,
too?
you're going up like
But it's an odd number
10
too.
with stack.
0 is not an, oh, no, it's not an odd number.
Is it an even number like X times 2?
Odd number, not all numbers are divisible by 3 though.
Wait, so 0 isn't odd. But it's divided by 1 is 0, right?
Of course. But
Yeah.
we're using the rule X times 2. Then
Yeah, that it is. Yeah, because that's what we're getting to right now. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, dot, dot, dot. What do those dots mean?
etc. Repeat.
Goes on forever and ever and ever. You could, for the rest of your life, count the even numbers and you would never have all the even numbers. All right, but what we're going to do today is talk about how do you write an even number. How do you write the number 6, for example? How could you write 6 so that it showed that it was divisible by 2? Because that's what we're saying an even number is. An even number is a number divisible by 2. How could I write 6 so that it is divisible by 2? 2 times
4.
3.
3.
Oh, my bad.
6 is 2 times 3. Right, Angel? Okay. What about 14? How could you write 14? 2 times 7. What about 20? 2 times 10. What about 46?
2 times 13.
2 times 23.
Or 23.
2 times 23.
What did I say?
You said 13.
It's okay. This
Okay.
Thursday.
What?
All right, so that said, every one of these even numbers I was able to write as 2 times something. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes that number that I'm multiplying it by, sometimes this number right here, sometimes it is an odd number, sometimes it is an even number. So it doesn't matter what that other number is as long as you are able to write it as 2 times something. Is that okay? So this is what I would like you guys to do, is say that an even number can be written as 2m. But what does m mean? What kind of a number is m? An integer, very nice. A non-decimal number. M is always a non-decimal. So m has to be an integer. So you can write every even number as 2 times some integer. Sorry guys, I wrote kind of low. I will try to avoid doing that. So m has to be some integer. Are you okay with that? That 2m is pretty important. You're going to be using that a lot in this next section of this unit. Can I flip pages?
Yes.
Okay, odd number. An odd number. What's an odd number?
3.
Something not divisible. by
1.
two.
Well, you're giving me examples of odd numbers. But what is an odd number?
A number that's not divisible by 2
It is
without a
a-
decimal.
Yeah, very good. It's a number that is not divisible by 2. All right. So an odd number is not divisible by 2. It's not divisible by 2. Give me some examples of odd numbers. Angel,
1,
1,
3,
3,
5,
5,
9.
11, 13, and then I'm just going to go dot, 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 because I could spend the rest of my life listing these and I would never list them all. So those are examples of odd numbers. Now, what I would like you guys to do is try writing odd numbers as 2 times something, but that something that you're going to multiply the 2 by cannot be a decimal. So, in other words, if I am going to write the number 5 like that, I would say that 5 is 2 times 2. What is 2 times 2? 4. But I want it to be 5, so what do I need to do to this?
+1.
I need to add 1 onto it. What about 9? How can I write 9 so it looks like this one?
4 and 1.
2 times
4.
4 plus 1. What about 13?
2 times 6 plus
2 times 6 plus 1.
1.
I'm going to do one more. 15. 2 times what?
7
7
plus 1.
plus 1. So every time I did this, every time I looked at an odd number, I was able to multiply some number by 2 and then add 1 onto it. Are you okay with that? Every single time that worked. So if I go back to this page where it says that an even number can be written as 2m, I would like you guys to write on this page that an odd number can be written as what?
2m plus 1.
2m plus 1. Very, very nice. That's how we write odd numbers. What does m have to be, though? Can m be a decimal? Can it be a fraction? Can it be a irrational number? No, it has to be a what kind of a number? It must be an integer. Okay?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is talk about how can we show in proof form, in a mathematical proof, how can we show that if you add together an odd number and an odd number, you're always going to get what is an odd plus an odd all the time, you guys? An odd plus an odd
Even.
is always going to be an even. You're going to have to show to me that if you take an odd number and add to it an even number, that you will always get a what? What is an odd plus an even? An odd. Okay, what if I asked you to show that consecutive odd numbers are always a multiple of 3? You're going to have to be able to show that to me. And this is where it begins, is being able to denote an odd number and to denote an even number. Okay, so this is pretty important. This 2m plus 1 is pretty important, and so is this 2m. So what we're going to do right now is make a list of some key words that you guys need to know in order to write these proofs. So the first thing I want you to do is write down, what does consecutive mean?
Same number.
Write this down. Consecutive means what?
One.
Nope, does not mean the same.
One after another.
Consecutive means
One after another.
one after another. It means in a row. Yep, one after another or in a row. I'm going to make it quick and easy and just say it is in a row. What about sum? That is something else that you guys need to be familiar with. When I ask you to show that the sum of two things is something, what does sum mean?
Point plus point.
Total.
That means,
Total. Added up.
yeah, the total added up. Add. It means add. That's the word I was looking for. So when I ask you to find find the sum of something, you are adding. Okay? Alright. You've already written this part down, but I want you to have like a nice list here in your notes so you can use as reference. How do we write even numbers? 2m. How do we write odd numbers? 2m plus 1. Okay? Alright, now, what I would like you to do is write down how would you write consecutive odd numbers? Consecutive odd numbers. Alright, so that, what does that mean? Consecutive odd numbers, that means, for example, what? Give me an example of consecutive odd numbers.
Numbers going up by odd numbers.
Well, a consecutive odd, give me an odd number. 3. What would be consecutive to 3? Would be the next odd number. So 3, 5. What would be the next one? 7.
Darn.
3, 5, 7, then 9, then 11, and so on. Those would be consecutive odd numbers. If I just asked you to give me odd numbers, you could give me 3, 19, 43, 57, 91, 17. You could just give me a bunch of random numbers. But if I ask you to give me consecutive odd numbers, they have to be in a row like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. Okay, so consecutive odd numbers. How do you write an odd number again? 2m plus 1. This is like the rule that represents any odd number. But if I am asking you guys to write the next consecutive odd number, how do you write that?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you do. You have to add 2 onto 2m plus 1. So let's say, give me your eyes and ears. Jeremiah, can you give your little, there we go. Good. All right. So let's say we're talking about 5. 5 is the first odd number we're talking about. What's the next odd number? 7. What do I do to 5 to get to 7? You have to add 2. So if 2m plus 1 is what we are calling 5, 2m plus 1, and you have to add 2 onto it to get to 7, that means I have to add 2 on to 2m plus 1. But you don't write it like that. What is 2m plus 1 plus 2? It's 2m plus 3. So in other words, you have to combine like terms to get you 2m plus 3. So consecutive odd numbers in this case would be 2m plus 1, and then 2m plus 3 would be the next one. What would come after 2m plus 3? 2m plus 5. And then you could keep going. Dot, 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 dot. 2m plus 7, 2m plus 9, 2m plus 11, and so on. But we don't need to write all those. I think we're good with those 3. All right, what if I ask you to write consecutive even?
You went one before m instead of
No.
or 2m plus.
Well, what would the first one be? The first one would be 2m. So, for example, 4 is an even number. What is the next even number? 6. So I have to add 2 onto 4 to get to 6. So 2m, the next one would be exactly 2 after that, which is 2m plus 2. And then we have to add 2 on to that to get 2m plus 4. 2m plus 6. 2m plus 8, etc. Okay? You got it, Derek? Good.
Sorry.
Do you understand what I'm saying here? You get it? And let's just say that you don't know what I am talking about. Having this stuff written down in front of you will at least help you with the next part, what you're going to have to actually do to this. But if you understand where all this junk is coming from, then it will just, make that much more sense. All right, I'm going to flip pages because I'm running out of room, but are you guys okay? Do you have this all on your list? This will be a very helpful list very, very soon. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is, what if I didn't
It's
say
not
they
right.
had to be even or odd? I just said consecutive numbers. So be careful with this one, because everyone wants to jump in and say, oh, 2m and then 2m plus 1 is 1. I didn't say it had to be even or odd, did I? I just said consecutive numbers.
So would it be
Consecutive numbers.
It'll be the same.
Well, it would be the same as what?
Like, it'll be 2m.
Okay, but by saying 2m, what are you saying the first number has to be?
It would be
Even. It doesn't say it has to be even. By the way, I've heard it. Maybe there's you, Omar.
That's M.
M. If you just say m, could m be even?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could m be odd?
Oh,
What if I said 2m? What does that mean it is? Even. What if I said 2m plus 1? Then it's odd. If it can be either, you just call it m. So consecutive numbers, the first one is m.
M plus 1.
What's the next number after that?
Plus
1.
M plus 1. I hope I don't see people start doubling things. We are adding 1 to get to each next number. So m plus 1, then what?
M plus 2.
M plus 2,
M plus 3.
m plus 3,
M plus 4.
etc. Dot, dot, dot. So m plus 1, m plus 2, m plus 3. All right, those are consecutive numbers. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Am I forgetting any? That's what I'm wondering right now. Let me flip back here. We have consecutive odd. We have consecutive even. Oh, I know. What if I just said odd numbers? Just odd. They don't have to be consecutive. They're just random odd integers. Odd numbers. Okay, well, if they're odd, what do they have to be? 2m plus 1. Now, the next one doesn't have to be the next number. In fact, it could even be the same one, but it doesn't have to be the same odd number. It could just be any other odd number. Any suggestions?
What?
How can I write another odd number? 2m plus 5, but that means that it has to be exactly 2 odd numbers after that one. We just want it to be any odd number. 2m plus 11 means it is very specifically, what, 5 numbers after 2m plus 1. Say it again. Oh, what'd you say? Nope. M.
2m plus 1.
What'd you say?
2m plus 1.
2 what?
M.
2m plus 1 is what I have there already. So by saying 2m plus 1 again, you're saying it has to be exactly the same number.
1 plus m.
Okay, now I'm wondering, maybe I've heard it, maybe I haven't. Another one would be the same, it has to look exactly the same, but we have to use a different letter. We're using a different letter because this might be 2 times 3 plus 1, but then n over here in the second one means something completely different, a completely different number. So when it doesn't say they have to be in a specific order, consecutive or something like that, they can just be any random odd numbers. You have to switch up the letters. Okay, so what if I wanted to use one more odd number? It doesn't have to be consecutive, it just has to be some odd number. Give me O, 2O. Why would I not write 2O?
Because it was a 0.
Because it looks like a 0.
2A.
2.
2, usually after M and N comes P. Usually. So I'm going to say 2P plus 1. And then it would go to Q and then R. But you know what? I don't care what letters you use, but don't use O. Because O looks too much like a 0. It will confuse you and it will confuse me. All right, what about this? What if I just said even numbers? Doesn't have to be consecutive. Doesn't have to be any specific even numbers. I'm just saying give me some even numbers. 2M. Give me another one.
2n.
2N. Is that what you said first of all?
Me? No, I said 2n.
Okay, you did. 2M, 2N, what else?
2q.
2P,
2q.
2Q, etc.
2r.
use this, highlight it. Maybe Chelsea will let you use one of her highlighters. Star it or something, okay? Put a box around it because this